Welcome to Two Witness Teaching Program. Two Witness, a Bible teaching program to change and transform people. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Let's dive into it.
Going along here after the break in Judges chapter 10. And after Abimelech there arose to defend Israel Tola, the son of Puah, the son of Dodo, a man of Issachar, and he dwelt in Mount Ephraim and judged Israel 23 years and died and was buried. Verse 3, after him rose Jair. And you might want to just, circle or box in each one of these names, because you're going to find somewhere between 13 and 15 judges named by name. After him rose Jair, a Gileadite, and judged Israel 22 years. Jair died and was buried, verse 5. And then verse 6, and the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and served Balaam and Ashtaroth, and the gods of Syria, and the gods of Zidon, and the gods of Moab, and the gods of the children of Ammon, and the gods of the Philistines, and they forsook the Lord and served not him. Verse 7, and the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hands of the Philistines and into the hands of the children of Ammon. And that year they vexed and oppressed the children of Israel. 18 years all the children of Israel that were on the other side of Jordan in the land of the Amorites, which is in Gilead. Moreover, the children of Ammon passed over Jordan to fight also against Judah and against Benjamin and against the house of Ephraim, so that Israel was sore distressed. They even crossed the river to fight. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, here it is, saying, we have sinned against thee, both because we have forsaken our God, and also served Balaam. So they cried, and they confessed their sin, didn't they? We have sinned against thee. We've forsaken you, and in doing that, we went and turned and served Balaam. And the Lord said to the children of Israel, did not I deliver you from the Egyptians, and from the Amorites, and the children of Ammon, and from the Philistines? The Zidonians also, and the Amalekites, and the Manoites did oppress you, and you cried to me, and I delivered you out of their hands. Yet you have forsaken me, and served other gods, wherefore I will deliver you no more. Go and cry to the gods which you have chosen. Underline that. Who chose them? They did. They left God. Remember, he started out by saying he wasn't going to change his covenant with them. But they chose other gods. He says, go cry to them. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation. And the children of Israel said to the Lord, we have sinned. Do unto us whatsoever seemeth good unto you. Deliver us only, we pray thee, this day. And they put away. Notice it required their action. They were the ones that chose the false gods. Now they're the ones that have to put away the false gods. They put away the strange gods from among them and served the Lord. And his soul, God's soul, was grieved for the misery of Israel. So then he began to take pity on them and have compassion on them. Then the children of Ammon were gathered together and encamped in Gilead, and the children of Israel assembled themselves together and encamped in Mizpah. And the people and the princes of Gilead said to one another, what man is he that will begin to fight against the children of Ammon? He shall be head over all the inhabitants of Gilead.
So now in chapter 11 we are introduced to Jephthah. Now Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty man of valor. He was the son of a harlot, make that note, a woman that was a harlot. And Gilead begat Jephthah. Gilead's wife bare him up more additional sons, and his wife's sons grew up, and they thrust out or threw out Jephthah, and they said unto him, thou shalt not inherit in our father's house, for thou art the son of a strange woman, or a harlot. You're not one of us through our regular mother. Then Jephthah fled from his brethren and dwelt in the land of Tob, and there were gathered vain men to Jephthah and went out with him. And it came to pass in the process of time that the children of Ammon made war against Israel. And it was so that when the children of Ammon made war against Israel, the elders of Gilead went to fetch Jephthah out of the land of Tob. And they said unto Jephthah, Come, and be our captain, that we may fight with the children of Ammon. And Jephthah said unto the children of Gilead, Did you not hate me, and expel me out of my father's house? Why are you come unto me now, when you are in distress? And the elders of Gilead said unto Jephthah, Therefore we turn again to thee now, that you mayest go with us, and fight against the children of Ammon, and be our head over all the inhabitants of Gilead. And Jephthah said unto the elders of Gilead, Now look, if you bring me home to fight against the children of Ammon, and the Lord deliver them before me, shall I be your head? And the elders of Gilead said unto Jephthah, The Lord be witness between us if we do not do so according to your words. Then Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him head and captain over them. And Jephthah uttered all his words before the Lord in Mizpah. And Jephthah sent messengers unto the king of the children of Ammon, saying, What hast thou to do with me? This is his first message to them. What have you got to do with me, that you come against me to fight in my land? So the king of the children of Ammon answered unto the messengers of Jephthah, Because Israel took away my land, the king says, when they came up out of Egypt, from Arnon even unto Jabbok, under the Jordan, and now therefore restore those lands again peaceably. And Jephthah sent messengers the second time unto the king of the children of Ammon, and he said unto him, Thus saith Jephthah, Israel took not away the land of Moab, nor the land of the children of Ammon. But when Israel came up from Egypt and walked through the wilderness under the Red Sea and came to Kadesh, then Israel sent messengers unto the king of Edom, saying, Let me, I pray thee, pass through your land, not dwell there, but pass through. But the king of Edom would not hearken thereto. In like manner they sent unto the king of Moab, but he would not consent, and Israel abode in Kadesh. Then they went along through the wilderness, and compassed the land of Edom and the land of Moab, and came by the east side of the land to Moab, and pitched on the other side of Arnon, and came not within the border of Moab, for Arnon was the border of Moab. And Israel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, the king of Heshbon. And Israel said unto him, Let us pass, we pray thee, through thy land unto my place. But Sihon trusted not Israel to pass through his coast, but Sihon gathered all of his people together, and pitched in Jahaz, and fought against Israel. And the Lord God of Israel delivered Sihon and all of his people into the hands of Israel, and they smote them. So Israel possessed all the land of the Amorites, the inhabitants of that country. And they possessed all the coast of the Amorites, from Arnon even into Jabbok, and from the wilderness even to Jordan. So now the Lord God of Israel has disposed the Amorites from before his people Israel, and should thou possess it? Wilt thou not possess that which Chemosh thy God giveth thee to possess? So whomsoever the Lord our God shall drive out from before us, then will we possess. So the whole thing goes on here. And then verse 29, again, providential government. The Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he passed over Gilead, and Manasseh he passed over Mizpah unto Gilead, and from Mizpah of Gilead he passed unto the children of Ammon. And Jephthah vowed a vow unto the Lord, and said, here's his vow, If thou shalt without fail deliver the children of Ammon unto my hands, then it shall be that whatsoever cometh forth of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the children of Ammon, shall surely be the Lord's. I'll give whatever comes out of that door first, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering. So he makes this vow before the Lord. So Jephthah passed over unto the children of Ammon to fight against them, and the Lord delivered them into his hands. And he smote them from Or even till thou come to Minnith, even 20 cities, and unto the plains and vineyards of great slaughter. Thus the children of Ammon were subdued before the children of Israel. And Jephthah came to Mizpah unto his house, and behold, his daughter came out to meet him with the timbrels and with dances, and she was his only child, Besides her, he had neither son nor daughter. And it came to pass, when he, Mizpah, saw her, that he rent his clothes, and said, Alas, my daughter, thou hast brought me very low, and thou art one of them that trouble me, for I have opened my mouth unto the Lord, and I cannot go back. And she said unto him, My father, if thou hast opened thy mouth unto the Lord, do to me according to that which proceeded out of your mouth. For as much as the Lord hath taken vengeance for thee of thine enemies, even the children of Ammon. And she said unto her father, Let this thing be done for me. Let me alone 2 months, that I may go up and down upon the mountains, and bewail my virginity and my fellows. And he said, Go. And she sent her away. And he sent her away for 2 months. She went with her companions, and bewailed her virginity upon the mountains. That is, the fact that she would be remaining a virgin forever. Came to pass at the end of 2 months that she returned unto her father, who did with her according to his vow which he had vowed. And she knew no man from that time on. And it was a custom in Israel that the daughters of Israel went yearly to lament the daughter of Jephthah the Gileadite 4 days in a year.
Chapter 12. And the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together and went northward, and said unto Jephthah, Wherefore passed thou over to fight against the children of Ammon, and didst not call us to go with thee? We will burn thy house upon thee with fire. So these men of Ephraim are mad again now, because they weren't called to go to war with the rest of them. And so they have a little strife here. And then verse 4, Then Jephthah gathered together all the men of Gilead, and fought with Ephraim. And the men of Gilead smote Ephraim, because they said, Ye Gileadites are fugitives of Ephraim among the Ephraimites and among the Manassites, those of Manasseh. And so there was this skirmish between the tribes. And it's interesting, verse 6, the way they determined who was really one of them and not. It's just a little side note. Then they said unto them, Say Shibboleth. And the man said Sibboleth, for he could not frame to pronounce it right. And then they took him and slew him at the passages. So just by the fact that he spoke differently than they did, pronounced the words differently, they knew who was one of them and who wasn't. All right, then verse 7, And Jephthah judged Israel 6 years, and then died, and was buried. After him, Isban, so you want to circle him, of Bethlehem judged Israel. He had 30 sons and 30 daughters whom he sent abroad, and took in 30 daughters from abroad for his sons. And he judged Israel 7 years. Then Isban died and was buried. After him was Elon, E-L-O-N, so circle Elon, a Zebulunite. He judged Israel 10 years. He died and was buried. And after him, verse 13, Abdon, A-B-D-O-N, judged Israel. He had 40 sons and 30 nephews that rode on 70 ass colts, and he judged Israel 8 years. And Abdon the son of Hillel died and was buried in the land of Ephraim, in the mount of the Amalekites.
Okay, chapter 13, starting in verse 1, it goes through chapter 16, verse 31 is all about Samson. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them under the hand of the Philistines 40 years, one whole generation under their control. There was a certain man of Zorah of the family of Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and bare not, and the angel of the Lord appeared unto the woman, and said unto her, Behold now, thou art barren, and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive and bear a son. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine nor strong drink, or eat anything unclean thing. For lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, this is Samson. No razor shall come on his head, for the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb, and he shall begin. I want you to underline or make a note of the word begin. He's not going to deliver Israel, he's going to begin to deliver Israel out of the hands of the Philistines where they've been for one generation. So you just got to remember begin, because that's about all he's going to be used for. So then the woman came and told her husband, a man of God came to me, and his countenance was like a countenance of an angel of God, very terrible. But I asked him not whence he was, neither told me his name. But he said unto me, behold, thou shalt conceive, bear a son, drink no wine or strong drink, neither eat any unclean thing, for the child shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb to the day of his death. Then Manoah entreated the Lord and said, O my Lord, let the man of God which thou didst send come unto us again, and teach us what we should do unto the child that should be born. And God hearkened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of God came again unto the woman, and but Manoah, her husband, was not with her. And so he deals with it here. Again in verse 12, Manoah said, now let thy words come to pass. How shall we order the child, and how shall we do unto him? And so we get some rules here in verse 14. The wife may not eat of anything that cometh out of the vine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink, or eat any unclean thing. All that I have commanded her, let her observe. And so it goes on, the whole story of the preparation and so forth. And then verse 24, the woman bare a son, called his name Samson. The child grew, the Lord blessed him, and the Spirit of the Lord began to move him at times in the camp of Dan between Zorah and Eshtaol.
Chapter 14, and Samson went down to Timnath. So now we see Samson as a grown man. He went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. He came up and told his father and his mother and said, I've seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife. Then his father and his mother said to him, Isn't there a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or amongst all of thy people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? Well, Samson said to his father, Get her for me, for she pleases me well. I still want her. But his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord that he sought an occasion against the Philistines. For at that time the Philistines had dominion over Israel. So God was going to use this, that Samson wanted a Philistine wife. Then went Samson down and his father and his mother to Timnath, and they came to the vineyards of Timnath, and behold, a young lion roared against Samson. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and he rent this lion as he would have rent a kid, a goat, and he had nothing in his hand, but he didn't tell his father or his mother what he had done. So here's the story of Samson killing the lion with his bare hand. And he went down and he talked with the woman, and she pleased Samson well. And after a time he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion, and behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. And he took thereof in his hands, and went on eating, and came to his father and mother, and he gave them, and they did eat. But he did not tell them that he had taken the honey out of the carcass of the lion. So his father went down unto the woman, and Samson made there a feast, for so used the young men to do. Here was going to be time for the wedding. And it came to pass, when they saw him, they brought 30 companions to be with him. And Samson said unto them, I will now put forth a riddle unto you. So here's the riddle of Samson. If you can certainly declare it me within the 7 days of the feast, and find it out, then I will give you 30 sheets or shirts, and 30 changes of garments. But if you cannot declare it to me, then shall you give me 30 shirts and 30 change of garments. And they said to him, Put forth thy riddle, that we may hear it. So Samson gives them the riddle. Out of the eater came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness. And they could not in 3 days expound the riddle. Came to pass on the 7th day, they said to Samuel's wife, Entice thy husband. Notice what they say, entice. Entice thy husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, or else we will burn thee and thy father's house with fire. So they've actually now threatened her. Have you called us to take what we have? Is it not so? And Samson's wife wept before him and said, Thou dost but hate me, and lovest me not. Thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and hast not told it to me. And he said to her, Behold, I've not told it my father nor my mother. Should I tell it to you? And she wept before him the 7 days while their feast lasted. And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him. Notice that she's whining, she's crying, she's telling him he doesn't love her because he hasn't told her this. We're going to see the same thing happen again later on. And she told the riddle to the people of the children of her people, so she passed it on to them. And the men of the city said to him on the 7th day before the sun went down, "What is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion?" Well, Samson knew right away where this came from. He said to them, "If you had not plowed with my heifer, you had not found out my riddle. It came from my wife." And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he went down to Ashkelon, and slew 30 men of them, and took their spoil, and gave changes of garments unto them which expounded the riddle. And his anger was kindled, and he went up to his father's house. So he was angry that his wife had done this to him. But Samson's wife was given to his companion, whom he had used as his friend, or his best man, his next friend, because Samson was so angry that he left. Okay, chapter 15.
Okay, 15 continues right on. But it came to pass within a while after, in the time of the wheat harvest, that Samson visited his wife with a kid, and he said, "I will go into my wife into the chamber." But her father would not allow him to go in. And her father said, "I verily truly thought that thou hadst utterly hated her, therefore I gave her to thy companion. Is not her younger sister fairer than she? Take her, I pray thee, instead of her." And Samson said concerning them, "Now shall I be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them a displeasure." Samson went and caught 300 foxes, took firebrands, torches, turned tail to tail, then he put a firebrand in the midst between the two tails. And when he had set the brands on fire, he let them go into the standing corn of the Philistines, burned up both the shocks and also the standing corn with the vineyards and olives. When the Philistines said, "Who hath done this?" And they answered, "Samson, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because he hath taken his wife and given her to his companion." And the Philistines came up and burnt her and her father with fire. Samson said unto them, "Though you have done this, yet I will be avenged of you, and after that I will cease." He smote them hip and thigh with great slaughter, and he went down and dwelt in the top of the rock of Etam. Then the Philistines went up and pitched in Judah, and spread themselves in Lehi. And the men of Judah said, "Why are you come up against us?" And they answered, "To bind Samson we are come up, to do him as he's done to us." Then 3,000 men of Judah went to the top of the rock Etam, and said to Samson, "Knowest thou not that the Philistines are rulers over us? What is it that you have done to us?" And he said unto them, "As they did unto me, so have I done unto them." And they said unto him, "We are come down to bind thee, that we may deliver thee into the hands of the Philistines." And Samson said unto them, "Will swear unto me that you will not fall upon me yourselves." And they spake unto him, saying, "No, but we will bind thee fast and deliver thee unto their hand, but surely we will not kill thee." And they bound him with 2 new cords and brought him up from the rock. And when he came into Lehi, the Philistines shouted against him, and the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and the cords that were upon his arms became as flax that was burned with fire, and his bands loosed from off his hands. He found a new jawbone. That is, a new jawbone would be moist. It wouldn't be dry and breakable. It would be very strong yet. He found the new jawbone of an ass. He put forth his hand. He took it and slew 1,000 men therewith. And Samson said, "With the jawbone of an ass, heaps upon heaps, with the jawbone of an ass have I slain 1,000 men." It came to pass, when he made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hand, threw it down, and he called that place Ramath Lehi. And that simply meant a lifting up. It can either in Hebrew be the lifting up of the jawbone or the throwing down of a jawbone. And he was sore athirst, and he called on the Lord and said, Thou hast given this great deliverance unto the hand of thy servant, and now shall I die for thirst and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised? But God clave a hollow place that was in that jar that he just threw down. There came water thereout, and when he had drunk, his spirit came again, and he revived, and therefore he called the name thereof En-Hedkor, which is in Lehi unto this day. And he judged Israel in the days of the Philistines 20 years.
So Samson was a judge.
He was a judge.
And then chapter 16, then went Samson to Gaza and saw there a harlot, and went in unto her. So this is the second Gentile woman now he's getting involved with. And it was told the Gazites, saying, Samson is come hither. And they compassed him in, and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying, In the morning, when it is day, we shall kill him. And Samson lay till midnight, and arose at midnight, and took the doors of the gate of the city, and the 2 posts, and went away with them, bars and all, put them upon his shoulders, and carried them up to the top of a hill that is before Hebron. So this is how strong he was. He just took the gates of the city, and the posts, and the bar, and took the whole thing with him. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. The third Gentile woman he gets involved with, the woman not of the Lord. And her name was Delilah. And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and said to her, Entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him. And we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. Find his weakness, and we'll give you money. And Delilah said to Samson, Tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee. And Samson said to her, If they bind me with 7 green withs that were never dried, and a green withe is a moist kind of a cord, then shall I be weak and be as another man. And then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green withs which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. And there were men lying in wait, abiding with her in the chamber, and she said to him, The Philistines be upon us. And Samson, what did he do? He broke the withs as a thread. He's broken when it touches the fire, so his strength was not known. And Delilah said to Samson, Behold, thou hast mocked me, and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound. How can we bind you? She probably made it like a game. And he said to her, If they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him therewith, and said to him, The Philistines be upon thee. And Samson, and there were liars in wait abiding in the chamber, and he brake them from off his arms like a thread. And Delilah said unto Samson, Hitherto thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, If thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web. And she fastened it with the pin, and said to him, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awaked out of his sleep, and went away with the pin of the beam and with the web. So now look what she says to him in verse 15. How can you say, I love thee, when thy heart is not with me? Now, isn't that how he got in trouble before? She said, You hate me. How can you love me? And she wept and everything till she got the riddle out of him, the first, his wife. Well, now Delilah says, How can you say I love thee when your heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lieth. And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death, that he told her all his heart. Now that's exactly what his wife did. She just kept after him till it says he told her, because, let me get back to that, she lay sore upon him. So this man just lets these women and their words wear him down. He told her with all his heart. And he said, There hath not come a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, Come up this once, for he has shown me all his heart. Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and brought money in their hand, and she made him sleep upon her knees. And she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. So she got him to fall asleep on her lap, and then they cut what must have been maybe braids or however they did the hair, the 7 locks, and his strength had gone from him. And she said, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he woke out of his sleep and said, I will go out, as at other times before, and shake myself. But he did not know that the Lord was departed from him. But the Philistines took him, and look what they did. They put out his eyes, and they brought him down to Gaza, and bound him with fetters of brass, and he did grind in the prison house. So they blinded him, and then they put him on a wheel that grinds. Have you ever seen those from the old times where usually an animal walks around the wheel and the millstone grinds the grain? They put him on this, and he did grind in the prison house. Howbeit the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. And then the lords of the Philistines gathered them together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon their god, and to rejoice. For they said, Our God has delivered Samson our enemy into our hand. And when the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, Our God hath delivered unto our hands our enemy, and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us. And it came to pass, when their hearts were merry, they were having a party, they said, Call for Samson, that he may make us sport. And they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport, or he kind of was the entertainment. And they set him between the pillars. And Samson said to the lad that held him by the hand, that led him around, Suffer me, or allow me to feel the pillars whereupon the house stands, that I may lean upon them. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the lords of the Philistines were there. And there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport. And Samson called unto the Lord, and he said, O Lord God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, O God, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes. And Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars upon which the house stood, and on which it was borne up, of the one with his right hand and the other with his left. And Samson said, Let me die with the Philistines. And he bowed himself with all his might, and the house fell upon the lords and upon all the people that were therein. So the dead which he slew in his death were more than they which he slew in his lifetime. Then his brethren and all the house of his father came down and took him and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the burying place of Manoah his father. And he judged Israel 20 years.
Chapter 17 is very short. It's about a man in verse 1 named Micah. He said unto his mother, The 1,100 shekels of silver that were taken from you, about which thou cursed, and spake also in mine ears, behold, the silver is with me. I took it. And his mother said, Blessed be thou of the Lord, my son. And when he had restored of the 1,100 shekels of silver to his mother said, I had wholly previously dedicated the silver unto the Lord from my hand for my son, to make a graven image and a molten image. Now therefore I will restore it unto thee. Yet he restored the money unto his mother, and his mother took the 200 shekels of silver and gave it to them to the founder, who made thereof a graven image and a molten image, and they were in the house of Micah. And the man Micah had a house of gods, and made an ephod, a teraphim, and consecrated one of his sons, who became his priest. Now, verse 6 is going to be repeated many times. In those days there was no king in Israel, but every man did that which was right in his own eyes. Verse 7, there was a young man out of Bethlehem, Judah, of the family of Judah, and he was a Levite, and he sojourned there. He was evidently either a priest or a priest helper. The man departed out of the city from Bethlehem, Judah, to sojourn where he could find a place, and he came to Mount Ephraim, to the house of Micah, as he journeyed. And Micah said unto him, Whence comest thou? And he said unto him, I am a Levite of Bethlehem, Judah, and I go to sojourn where I might find a place to minister as a priest. And Micah said unto him, Dwell with me, and be unto me a father and a priest, and I will give thee 10 shekels of silver by the year, and a suit of apparel, and thy victuals. So the Levite went in. And the Levite was content to dwell with the man, and the young man was unto him as one of his sons. And Micah consecrated the Levite, and the young man became his priest, was in the house of Micah. Then said Micah, Now know that the Lord will do me good, seeing I have a Levite to my priest.
Now, this Micah is not the Micah, by the way, that comes up later as one of the minor prophets. Chapter 18, In those days there was no king in Israel, and in those days the tribe of the Danites sought them an inheritance to dwell in. For unto that day all their inheritance had not fallen unto them among the tribes of Israel. So Dan is still going to have to go into its own land. And the children of Dan sent of their family 5 men from their coasts, men of valor, and they were to spy out the land, to search it. And they said, Go, search the land. And they did, and when they came to Mount Ephraim, it says they came to the house of Micah, and they lodged there. Verse 3, When they were by the house of Micah, they knew the voice of the young man, the Levite. And they turned in there and said to him, Who brought you here? And what makest thou in this place? And what hast thou here? And he said to them, Thus and thus dealeth Micah with me, and he has hired me, and I am his priest. Well, what do we know about hirelings? Anybody think about New Testament scripture about hirelings? When the wolves come into the flocks, the shepherds who are hirelings do what? They leave, they flee, because they're hirelings, they're not of God. And so here is this priest who is hired, and we're going to see, he's got the wrong idea. Well, they said to him, Ask counsel, we pray thee of God, that we may know whether our way which we go shall be prosperous. And the priest said to them, Go in peace, before the Lord is your way wherein you go. And the 5 men departed. They went, they spied out the land. They came back to their brethren in verse 8. Verse 9, they said to their brethren, Arise, that we may go up against them, for we have seen the land, and behold, it is very good. And are you hanging around yet? Be not slothful to go and to enter to possess the land. And when you go, you shall come unto a people secure, and to a large land. For God hath given it into your hands. There is that, God has done it already. He hath given it into your hands, a place where there is no want of anything that is in the earth. So they're saying we've found the right place. And so they went out with weapons of war. They went up and pitched their camp. And verse 13, they passed to Mount Ephraim and came to the house of Micah. Then answered the men that went to spy out the country. They said to their brethren, Do you know that there is in these houses an ephod, or an image, and teraphim, little idols, and a graven image, and a molten image? Now therefore consider what you have to do. And they turned thitherward, came to the house of the young man the Levite, even unto the house of Micah, and saluted him, greeted him. And the 600 men appointed with their weapons of war, which were of the children of Dan, stood by the entering of the gate. And the 5 men that went to spy out the land went up and came in, and took the graven image, and the ephod, and the teraphim, and the molten image, and the priests stood in the entering of the gate with the 600 men that were appointed with weapons of war. And these went to Micah's house and fetched the carved image, the ephod, the teraphim, the molten image. And then said the priest to them, What are you doing? What do ye? They said to him, Hold thy peace, lay thine hand upon thy mouth, and go with us, and be to us a father and a priest. Is it better for thee to be a priest to the house of one man, or that thou be a priest to a tribe and a family in Israel? And the priest's heart was glad. He took the ephod, the teraphim, the graven image, and went in the midst of the people. So they turned and departed, and put the little ones and the cattle in the carriage before them. So what has happened? He's gotten a better offer. And so he turns like a hireling, and he goes and leaves the man that has brought him there. In verse 22, when they were a good way from the house of Micah, the men that were in the houses near to Micah's house were gathered together and overtook the children of Dan, and cried to the children of Dan, and turned their faces, and said to Micah, What aileth thee that thou comest with such a company? And he said, You've taken away my gods, which I made, and the priest, and you are gone away, and what have I more? And what is this that you say unto me? What aileth thee? Why are you asking me such a stupid question? See, you're the ones that have stolen everything out of my house. And the children of Dan said to him, Let not thy voice be heard among us, lest angry fellows run upon thee, and thou lose thy life with the life of thy household. And the children of Dan went their way, and when Micah saw they were too strong for him, he turned and went back to his house. And they took the things which Micah had made, and the priest which he had, and they came unto Laish, unto a people that were quiet and secure, and they smote them with the edge of the sword, and burnt the city with fire. That was the place they were going to go into. And there was no deliverer, because it was far from Zidon, and they had no business with any man, and it was in the valley that lieth by Beth Rehob. And they built a city, and dwelt therein. And they called the name of that city Dan, after the name of Dan their father, who was born unto Israel. Howbeit the name of the city was Laish at the first. Now look at verse 30. And the children of Dan set up the graven image, and Jotham the son of Gershom the son of Manasseh, he and his sons were priests to the tribe of Dan until the day of the captivity of the land. And they set them up Micah's graven image which he made all the time that the house of God was in Shiloh.
Okay, starting in 19, and this runs on to chapter 21. There's a rape here at Gilbath and the judgment to follow. We don't want to read it all, but the opening verse here, it came to pass in those days when there was no king in Israel, that there was a certain Levite sojourning on the side of Mount Ephraim, who took to him a concubine out of Bethlehem, Judea. This is a Levite, takes a concubine. And his concubine played the whore against him, and went away from him unto her father's house to Bethlehem, Judea, and was there 4 whole months. Her husband arose, went after her to speak friendly unto her, and to bring her again, having his servant with him, and a couple of asses, and she brought him unto the father's house. And when the father of the damsel saw him, the father of the woman rejoiced to meet him. And so he wants him to stay there and eat and drink in verse 4, and they stayed overnight. And this goes on even to the 4th day of having him stay each day, one more day. Verse 9 says, When the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine and his servant, the father-in-law, the damsel's father, said unto him, Behold, now the day again, same story, draweth towards evening. I pray you, tarry all night. Behold, the day groweth to an end. Lodge here, that thine heart may be merry, and tomorrow you can earnestly get on your way, that you may go home. But he didn't want to stay that night. He rose up and departed, came over to Jebus, which is Jerusalem. And the day was far spent. In verse 11. The servant said, Let us turn into the city of the Jebusites and lodge in it. He said, verse 12, Will not turn aside in the city of the stranger. So verse 14, they went on their way. The sun was down upon them when they were by Gibeah, which belongeth to Benjamin. They turned aside, went in the lodge there. They saw a man, an old man, verse 16. he came in and he offers his house to them, lodging. And he says in verse 19, there's both straw and provender for our asses, there is bread and wine also for me, the handmaid for the young man which is thy servant, and there is no want of anything. And the old man said, Peace be with thee, howsoever let all thy wants lie upon me, only lodge not in the street. So he brought him into the house and gave him, washed him feet, and eat and drink. Now here's the story that you've heard before in a similar way. Now as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, beset the house round about, and they're beating on the door. They spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, Bring forth the man that came into your house, that we may know him. Now the word know here is for sexual pleasure, for physical relationship. And the master of the house, went out unto them and said unto them, Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly, seeing that this man is come into mine house, do not this folly. Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine. Them I will bring out now, and humble ye them, and do with them what seemeth good unto you. But unto this man do not so vile a thing. But the men would not hearken to him, so the man took his concubine, brought her forth unto them, and they knew her. Again, the word knew, to sexually pollute her, and abused her all the night until the morning, and when the day began to spring, they let her go. Then came the woman in the dawning of the day, fell down at the door of the man's house where the Lord was, till it was light. Right now, her Lord rose up in the morning, opened the doors of the house, went out to go his way, and behold, a woman, his concubine, was fallen down at the door of the house, and her hands were upon the threshold. And he said to her, Up, and let us be going. But none answered. And then the man took her upon an ass, and the man rose up and gat him unto his place. And when he was come into his own house, he took a knife, he laid hold on his concubine, he divided her together, cut her into pieces, with the bones into 12 pieces, sent her into all the coasts of Israel. And so it was that all that saw it said, There was no such deed done nor seen from the day that the children of Israel came out of the land of Egypt unto this day. Consider it, take advice, speak your minds.
It's a pretty gory story, isn't it?
It is.
But we're going to see how this sin of homosexuality in Israel is dealt with here in chapter 20. Then all the children of Israel went out, and the congregation was gathered together as one man. They were, it'll say this several times, in one accord. From Dan even to Beersheba, with the land of Gilead to the Lord, unto the Lord in Mizpah. And the chief of all the people, even of all the tribes of Israel, presented themselves in the assembly of the people of God, 400,000 footmen that drew sword. And they said, Tell us, how was this wickedness? The end of verse 3. And the Levite, the husband of the woman that was slain, answered and said, I came into Gibeah that belongeth to Benjamin, one of the tribes, I and my concubine, to lodge. And the men of Gibeah rose against me, and beset the house round about upon me by night, and thought to have slain me, and my concubine have they forced, that she is dead. And I took my concubine, and cut her in pieces, and sent her throughout all the country of the inheritance of Israel. For they have committed lewdness and folly in Israel. Behold, you are all children of Israel, give here your advice and counsel. And all the people arose as one man. Again, they are in absolute accord on this, saying, We will not any of us go to his tent, neither will we any of us turn into his house. But now this shall be the thing which we will do to Gibeah. We will go up by lot against it. And we will take 10 men of 100 throughout all the tribes of Israel, and 100 of 1,000, and 1,000 out of 10,000, to fetch victual for the people, that they may do when they come to Gibeah of Benjamin, according to all the folly that they have wrought in Israel. So all the men of Israel were gathered against the city, knit together as one man. Verse 12, And the tribes of Israel sent men through all the tribe of Benjamin, saying, What wickedness is this that is done among you? Now therefore deliver us the men, the children of Belial, which are in Gibeah, that we may put them to death and put away evil from Israel. But the children of Benjamin would not hearken to the voice of their brethren, the children of Israel. But the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together out of the cities unto Gibeah to go out to battle against the children of Israel. And so there was an intertribal war right here between all of Israel and the children of Benjamin. Verse 18, the children of Israel arose, went up to the house of God, and asked counsel of God, and said, which of us shall go up first to the battle against the children of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up first. The children of Israel rose up in the morning and camped against Gibeah. The men of Israel went out to battle against Benjamin, and the men of Israel put themselves in array to fight against them. And the children of Benjamin came forth out of Gibeah and destroyed down to the ground of the Israelites that day 22,000 men. What? The Israelites were destroyed? Well, look at verse 22. The people, the men of Israel, encouraged themselves, set their battle again in array in the place where they put themselves in array the first day. And the children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until evening, and asked counsel of the Lord, saying, shall I go up again to battle against the children of Benjamin my brother? And the Lord said, go up against him. And the children of Israel came near against the children of Benjamin the second day. Benjamin went forth against them out of Gibeah the second day, and destroyed down to the ground of the children of Israel again 18,000 men. All those drew the sword. They lost again? Well, then all the children of Israel and all the people went up and came to the house of God and wept, and sat there before the Lord, and fasted that day until evening, and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. And the children of Israel inquired of the Lord, for the ark of the covenant of God was there in those days. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, stood before it in those days. They inquired, saying, shall I yet go again out to battle against the children of Benjamin my brother, or shall I cease? And the Lord said, go up, for tomorrow I will deliver them into thy hand. And Israel set liers in wait around about Gibeah. So Israel is basically going to set an ambush now against Benjamin and the warriors of Benjamin. And so that's what we see described in the next few verses. And it says in verse 45, and the Lord smote Benjamin before Israel, and the children of Israel destroyed of the Benjamites that day 25,100 men. All these drew the sword. So the children of Benjamin saw they were smitten, for the men of Israel gave place to the Benjamites, because they trusted unto the liers in wait which they had set beside Gibeah. And then they went and they also burned the city in the next few verses. And basically they set a trap so that they were caught between the Israelites on both sides, in the city and outside. And they enclosed Benjamin round about, verse 43, chased them, trode them down with ease. And there fell of Benjamin, verse 44, 18,000 men. All these were men of valor. And they turned and fled toward the wilderness into the rock of Rimmon, and they gleaned of them in the highways 5,000 men, and pursued hard after them, and slew 2,000 men of them, so that all which fell that day of Benjamin were 25,000 that drew the sword. All these were men of valor. But 600 men turned and fled to the wilderness into the rock Rimmon. So there's a remnant. And they abode in the rock Rimmon 4 months. And the men of Israel turned again upon the children of Benjamin, and smote them with the edge of the sword, as well the men of every city, as the beast and all that came to hand. Also they set on fire all the cities that they came to.
Okay, chapter 21, the conclusion of the book of Judges. Now the men of Israel had sworn in Mizpah, saying, there shall not any of us give his daughter unto Benjamin, the tribe of Benjamin, to wife. And the people came to the house of God, and they abode there till even before God, and lifted up their voices, and wept sore, and said, O Lord God of Israel, why has this come to pass in Israel, that there should be today one tribe lacking in Israel? no wives. Came to pass on the morrow that the people rose early and built there an altar and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. And the children of Israel said, Who is there among all the tribes of Israel that shall not come up with the congregation unto the Lord, that came not up? They didn't show. For they have made a great oath concerning him that came not up to the Lord to Mizpah, saying, He shall surely be put to death. Anybody that didn't come up. So the children of Israel repented them from Benjamin their brother, and said, There is one tribe cut off from Israel this day. How shall we do for wives for them that remain, seeing we have sworn by the Lord that we will not give them of our daughters to wives? And they said, But what one is there of the tribes of Israel that came not up to Mizpah to the Lord? And behold, there came none to the camp from Jabesh Gilead to the assembly. For the people were numbered, and behold, there were none of the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead that showed up. And the congregation sent thither 12,000 men of the valiantest, and commanded them, saying, Go and smite the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead with the edge of the sword, with the women and the children. And this is the thing that you shall do. You shall utterly destroy every male and every woman that has lain by man, that belongs to man. They found among the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead 400 young virgins that had known no man by lying with any male, and they brought them into the camp to Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan. The whole congregation sent some to speak to the children of Benjamin that were in the rock women, and to call peaceably unto them. And Benjamin came again at that time, and they gave them wives which had saved alive of the women of Jabesh Gilead, and yet so they sufficed them not, that it wasn't enough. And the people repented them for Benjamin, because that the Lord had made a breach in the tribes of Israel. Then the elders of the congregation said, Well, how shall we do for wives for them that remain, seeing the women are destroyed out of Benjamin? They said, There must be an inheritance for them that be escaped of Benjamin, that a tribe be not destroyed out of Israel. Howbeit, we may not give them wives of our daughters, for the children of Israel have sworn, saying, Cursed be he that giveth a wife to Benjamin. Well, then they said, Behold, there is a feast of the Lord in Shiloh, yearly in the place which is on the north side of Bethel, on the east side of the highway that goeth up from Bethel to Shechem, and on the south to Lebanah. Therefore they commanded the children of Benjamin, saying, Go and lie in wait in the vineyards, and see, and behold, if the daughters of Shiloh come out to dance in dances, then come ye out of the vineyards, catch you every man his wife of the daughters of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin. And it shall be, when their fathers or their brethren come to us to complain, that we will say to them, Be favorable unto them for our sakes, because we reserve not to each man his wife in the war. For you did not give unto them at this time that you should be guilty. And the children of Benjamin did so, and took them wives according to the number of them that danced, whom they caught, and they went and returned unto their inheritance. They repaired the cities and dwelled in them. The children of Israel departed thence at that time, every man to his tribe and to his family, and they went out from thence, every man to his inheritance. And in those days there was no king of Israel in Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes.
Now, the big question is doing right in your own eyes a good idea for a society? Every man doing right in his own eyes. Didn't help them, did it? Not one bit. They left the Lord. They didn't have anyone to be accountable to in the sense of an actual governmental person, and so this is the kind of thing that happened. Intertribal wars, rapes, murders, pillaging, deceitfulness, brother killing brothers, and it just became a big mess.
That's right.
So this time period is a very violent time period in the Bible, the period of Judges.
Yes, it is.
But it's that way because these people continually, we saw the pattern, continually went after other gods, other idols, and left what their fathers had given them. And then when they got sick of it, when they were hurting enough, they would cry out to God, and God would send a deliverer, a judge. But it didn't take long before they were back to idolatry again. So that's the key here. In those days there was no king, and every man did that which was right in his own eyes.